Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is August 18th, and right now we're looking at the infrared satellite imagery. Check out this ridge of high pressure. This is what's bringing us our very warm conditions here across a lot of the regions. Nice clear skies, but we've also got huge changes coming as we go through this upcoming week. You're going to want to see what's coming as we go through the mid and the end week portion. Also, pay attention to this tropical system out here north of the Hawaiian Islands, kind of moving on the southwest periphery of this ridge. I'm going to show you something interesting this will do over the next few days as well. Also, some new tools we're going to go over. And looking at things this morning, a bit of a marine layer on the Oregon coastline, but you can see it's not really causing much of an issue there. You're getting some nice glorious sunshine, and you can see the rest of the marine layer well off the Vancouver Island and the Washington coast. So quickly here, this my channel that you may see it pop up at times. This is the original Pacific Northwest Weather Watch channel. YouTube, for whatever reason, kind of reset the name of the channel, and they reset the picture there, which I cannot get in and get access to, and I can't even post to the channel or anything yet. This is the one with 100,000 subscribers, so please don't unsubscribe. I should have access to this channel back by the time we go towards the end of the week. And this is the channel you're looking at now, which will be the backup channel. They're separated by different emails on different accounts and everything. So if one goes down, I will always have the other. So anyway, back to the weather forecast. Check out what was going on at my house. 90 degrees yesterday, and you see it was pretty warm overnight last night. Leave the comments down below what you think, because we only got down up into the mid 60s. That's not enough time to really cool down the houses that don't have air conditioning. So yeah, it's going to be another very warm day again here today. So the houses are really going to ramp up that heat. But yeah, I found that interesting. I woke up in the middle of the night last night and it was still, 70 degrees outside, and this morning it only dropped down to 67. And also take a look at the winds. Out of the northeast, the offshore flow component still ongoing all the way through the overnight hours. So we're getting that offshore flow, keeping things very warm through the 7 o'clock hour. We're still out of the northeast there. Now, looking across the region, Seattle topping out at 88 officially, but look at Port Alberni, 100 degrees. You might think that might be a false reading there, but some other stations, look at this. And I think this is Beaver Creek. Yes, 100 degrees there, interior of British Columbia. Is that correct? Well, I mean, multiple stations recorded it, and yeah, we had some other pretty warm temperatures out there as well, including portions of Vancouver, British Columbia. You go back up into some of the interior locations here and look at, there's Hope, BC, checking in at 86 degrees yesterday, and you go a little bit further in, Anderson Creek at 94. Some very warm conditions. Look at the northern portion of Lake Chelan, 102 as well. So yeah, very warm temperatures out there. And if we take a look down across portions of Oregon, look at Medford, 106. That was expected. Portland International looks like they topped out at 99, 100 degrees. Not uncommon there for portions of the Willamette Valley. Looks like Salem hit 100 degrees there yesterday. Some pretty warm conditions east of the mountains as well, but not as warm as Western Oregon. We're getting the offshore component there. Some compression winds helping to really ramp up these temperatures. And we'll look across portions of eastern Washington. Looks like Spokane, they're checking in at 93 degrees. Looks like we had 97 at Moses Lake, 99 at Kennewick, for example. We scroll a little bit further south, we can check out places like Boise hitting 92. So again, you guys know how to beat the heat out there, but heat does kill people each year. It can be fairly dangerous, especially for some of the elderly, that without air conditioning. So, check on your neighbors or your grandparents or whatnot. Make sure they're doing all right. It's very warm conditions here through the early portion of August continue. And you can kind of see we got fire weather watches, heat advisors, extreme heat warning, extreme heat watch. So yeah, we get all kinds of stuff here across Southwest Oregon, eastern portions of Oregon. Go through the Willamette Valley, still dealing with extreme heat. This goes all the way through Tuesday. So this is today and tomorrow. Then finally the cool down will start coming. And then we've got a potential frontal system as we go towards the end of this upcoming week. Glorious here. The Mossbacks are going to love this forecast here in a moment. Major to moderate heat risk. Again, this goes through Tuesday. The further you go east, you can see Coeur d'Alene there, Lewiston, Spokane. One more warm day on Wednesday, but then we cool down the entire region by the time we get towards Thursday. So this is what's going on. We saw this on the infrared satellite imagery. The ridge of high pressure, there's that tropical system north of the Hawaiian Islands, and yeah, this is dominating our weather. But you see, as we go on in through the day on Tuesday, it starts to weaken and retreat back off to the west, and then we start to flatten out. The entire ridge here, and we start to bring some lowered heights across Western Canada. We start to get some troughing in here, and we're going to bring a system in here as we go towards the end of the weekend this weekend, and we might bring some meaningful rainfall here across the region. Don't want to get too excited just yet. The rug can still get pulled, and Lucy can pull the ball out from Charlie Brown about to kick it with that frontal system. We still got a few days to go, but it's looking promising at this point. So there's that tropical storm out there. There's the ridge of high pressure, got the offshore flow. A little bit of a thermal trough up and down the coastline there. And if I scroll through there, you'll see the big change start to come as we go through Wednesday. Look at the onshore flow start to return across the region. And then you see the troughing as we go on through Friday. That's going to usher in this frontal system. So let's take a look at that and get a little bit more detailed here. We've zoomed into the Pacific Northwest look, and here we go on in through Wednesday night into Thursday. And as we go through the day on early Friday morning, look at this, starts to arrive into Western Canada on the day Friday. And as we go on into the afternoon hours, evening hours, starts to bring some more meaningful precipitation across western Washington, perhaps down through western Oregon, as that frontal system swoops down across the area as we go through this upcoming weekend. And as you can imagine, we are not going to be dealing with these lofty temperatures as we go through the end of the week. As we get to Wednesday and Thursday, again, the temperatures are really going to drop off, and then the precipitation chances really start rolling in here as we go through Friday, Saturday, and maybe even on in towards Sunday. So this is a new tool. Integrated vapor transport now shows up on Weather Bell. So this is a very useful tool. This is how we measure atmospheric rivers. It's based on the integrated vapor transport and duration. So anytime you're under some of this blue here, you're getting underneath a very weak atmospheric river. And we calculate that based on you have to be under it for 24 hours. So if I put that into motion, we'll scroll on through and you can see that frontal system rolling in here. Technically, this would be classified as a weak atmospheric river as we go on and towards the end of the week there. So fun stuff, a little taste of fall as we go on into the mid portion of August. Now, I told you to watch out for that little tropical system there. I shouldn't call it little, but yeah, it's north of the Hawaiian Islands. Watch what happens with this. This is the heat transfer process that the Earth goes through. So it's grabbing all that deep moisture. It brings it up there and it starts to get caught back in the westerlies. You still see it right there, and then it starts to deposit it back towards the Pacific Northwest there. So yeah, some remnant moisture getting wrapped back around as we go on in through August 22nd, 23rd. Some of that may revisit the Pacific Northwest there. So something interesting to look at there. And you can also see it looks like these waves rippling through jello out there. That is tropical convection causing these gravity waves kind of moving around there. And again, it looks like, somebody's shaking jello on a tabletop or something like that. So yeah, fun stuff there. Now, total precipitation in inches. Let's take a look at what this frontal system may indeed bring. We're going to scroll all the way through Thursday. We're now into Friday, and look at that. Seattle starting to get some meaningful precipitation by Friday night. And look at some of the Olympic Mountains, Vancouver Island, Southwest BC, North Cascades. I mean, look at that. Tacoma checking in with an inch of rain by the time we get to early Saturday morning, and still a little bit more to come here as we go through the day on Saturday. Again, the frontal system, how far south will that get towards the Willamette Valley? Good question. But some of the Northwest Oregon coast also picking up some decent amounts. But look at this, maybe more than 2 inches for the Cascades, maybe even getting a little bit east of the mountains as well. But yeah, this would be a fairly robust frontal system. Seattle checking in with, 3/4 of an inch of rain, more towards SeaTac, Tacoma, and Olympia. Again, you can see we get some rain shadowing here across some of the San Juans, Port Angeles and Sequim out there as well. That is not unusual, of course. Now, if we look at the daily 2-meter max temperature, got a couple more hot days to go here. You can see Seattle checking in at 87 on this morning's run, but Tacoma 89, Olympia 92. You see some 100-degree readings across the Willamette Valley. Same thing for eastern Washington. Look at some 90s getting up into southwest BC. Here we go again. Interior Vancouver Island, British Columbia, very warm again. So yeah, fun stuff. Looks like Boise checking in 97. Bend probably upper 90s as well. Medford 108, the hot spot there again. Now, if we look at Portland in Region 1, the wet bulb globe temperature, 2 more days of some extreme warmth out there. If we go to Medford, actually higher wet bulb globe temperatures, but because you're in Region 3, you should be more acclimated to that heat. So That's one of the wet bulb globe temperatures. You can Google that for some more information. I've showed that in previous videos as well. Walla Walla is in region 2, and you can see that moderate. It's like, yeah, it's hot, but it's not too bad. And then you can see as we go through the extended forecast, we're going to be dealing with some much more comfortable temperatures. Seattle, Tacoma, 2 more warm days here. And yeah, this is kind of tricky here because these are very warm days for Seattle. Like, I tried not to use the air conditioning in my house yesterday, and we eventually had to kick it on because it was getting pretty uncomfortable out there. And then probably we'll have to do so again today because of the very warm overnight lows. Here we go, Boise, as we go through, this is Tuesday, then Wednesday, then we really drop back down into more comfortable temperatures. Same thing for the Oregon coast, actually touching moderate there here today for Tillamook, right on the Oregon coastline there. And here's Hoquiam, closer to the Washington coast, and there's Quileute as well. So you can really see you're going to be dealing with the much more comfortable temperatures. And look at the GFS as of last night. Look at some of these 24-hour temperature changes that's showing. I don't know if we're going to be 25 degrees colder in a 24-hour period as we go through the day on Wednesday, but it's kind of an interesting picture there as we really turn on the Mother Nature's air conditioning is going to start blasting in here as we go through Wednesday. Marine pushes are one of my favorite weather phenomena here across Pacific Northwest. We get these thermal troughs in the offshore flow that really warm things up, but as soon as that thermal trough starts to kick inland, we really can cool things down because the Pacific Ocean still is a relatively cool body of water. In fact, let's zoom in a little bit more on that as well. I mean, look at some of these temperatures. It has some areas 25 or even more across some of Vancouver Island there as well. So yeah, big cool down coming between Tuesday and Wednesday. Now, looking at the artificial intelligence, we'll scroll off into the extended forecast a little bit here. You can see that ridge break down, move off to the west, and we get the cool down on Wednesday. The frontal system rolls in on Friday, continuing some precipitation perhaps through the weekend. Troughing continues to hang out. How long will that troughing be there? Will this flip and flop as we go through the extended forecast? Who knows? But you can clearly see as we go through the 10 to 15 day period, we're still dealing with some troughing nearby. We'll see how that goes. That can change pretty quickly. A lot of chatter about this potential tropical system also coming across the Atlantic Ocean towards the east coast of North America. So I'll be watching that one as well in the back of my peripheral vision. But anyway, looking at the European 15-day precipitation anomaly, you can clearly see we have an above average signal emerging here, probably, of course, due to this frontal system as we go on into the end of the week coming up there. But yeah, nice to see that. And we need it because we're well below normal. This is since May 12th. You can see the Pacific Northwest just kind of basking in well below normal precipitation amounts, except for extreme northwest Montana, Idaho Panhandle, and some of the southern Oregon Cascades. But look at Washington, man, just well below normal for this 3-month period. And here's the 6 to 10 day, kind of that below normal still across the West Coast. Above normal, no, I don't disagree with that right now. The Climate Prediction Center here, this was put out yesterday. But yeah, anyway, click like and subscribe if you would. And hopefully, for some reason, I don't get my other channels back. I just plan on building this one back up from scratch. And yeah, that's what we would have to do. So anyway, I hope you guys are enjoying these videos. Hopefully these videos are finding you. Looks like the views are going up each day so far. So hopefully everybody that wants to find these videos is, and again, that my channel that you see pop up if you do search for Pacific Northwest Weather Watch is going to be changed back as we go to the end of the week and I get back in and I get total control of the channel. I already have control of it and I have all my stuff in place, but I cannot access it because Google puts a block on all session activity for 7 days apparently. So I cannot get back into the account. It just says we need more time to be able to trust your devices. So whatever's going on with that, we'll see. But yeah, worst comes to worst, we will just use this channel. So anyway, click like and subscribe. We'll do this all again tomorrow, and I will talk to you guys then.